Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine, and everyone at your home is also fit and fine. Dear students, today I am going to start first chapter of your second book. The title of the lesson is Challenges of Nation Building. You know well that India got freedom on night of 14 August and morning of 15 August. It means it was night of 14 August and morning of 15 August 1947. And after independence, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru became the Prime Minister of India. On that night, he addressed a special session of the Constituent Assembly, and that speech is called Tryst with Destiny. And this was the time India had been waiting for a long time. But we all know how much we had to pay to get this independence. But unfortunately, India was divided into two parts, India and Pakistan. But Pakistan had two parts like Western Pakistan and Eastern Pakistan. I will discuss about it ahead. And this independence was very sorrowful incident because India lost a big part, or they had to give a big part of motherland to Pakistan. Secondly, there was a very difficult situation for the nation because we had to face many challenges after this, as communal rights took place due to this incident, Hindu Muslim rights, and it was not expected, but unfortunately it happened, and many people had to lose their near and dear ones. A number of people had to migrate from one place to another place. Here, if you want to feel that the challenges or the problems the people that time faced, I would like to suggest a serial which has only 5 episodes, and you can watch it on YouTube. The name of the serial is Tamas. Tamas. So in this way, there was many challenges like this. Here you see the picture when on 15 August Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru addressed the people from Red Fort. But now this place has changed a lot. Now, there were 3 major challenges before the nation. The first challenge was that is known as Shape a Nation. Because no one could believe that India had been parted, though we had imagined for a united country. Even some nationalist leaders were not ready for this partition, but unwillingly they had to accept this partition. And this partition took place on the base of religion, and the areas with Muslim majority were given to Pakistan, and the areas with Hindu majority were given to India. While giving independence, the British played a trick, because British believed that India cannot stand as a united country. Where in the country where so many religions, so many cultures, so many languages are in existence, they cannot stand united, and they thought that they would have to come back to India to rule over this nation. And while going, they played a trick, like they had adopted earlier, divide and rule. Now they said that the princely states who want to join Indian Union, they could join India, and the princely states which wanted to join Pakistan, they could join Pakistan. So it was a big challenge for India how to prepare a united country. The second challenge was to establish democracy. It was a big challenge for India which type of administration India should adopt. Because in some countries where there was a monarchy, some country had parliamentary democracy, some had presidential democracy, and some had semi parliamentary democracy. But India decided to adopt representative or parliamentary democracy based on the parliamentary form of government. These features ensure that the political competition would take place in a democratic framework. Now, the third challenge was to ensure the development and well-being of the entire society, and not only of some sections. Here again, the Constitution clearly laid down the principle of equality and special protection to socially disadvantaged groups and religious and cultural communities. Means, in Indian Constitution, each and every person was regarded the citizen of India. Either he belonged to any religion, any community, any culture, or any caste. Therefore, there was a provision in India regarding directive principle of state policy. So, in this way, India paid attention towards well-being of society. Here you see, this is the newspaper cutting of the time when India got independence. Though the cutting is not complete, I tell you, it says Qaid-e Azam tribute to British people. The headline is Qaid-e-Azam. Qaid-e-Azam, he is Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan. Now, India's response to these challenges. How did India adopt this? I told you earlier that no one was happy with the partition. So, nation building was a big challenge for all of us. And there was a major work before India to make India a united nation. So, there the first thing that was to be done, nation building, it means unification of the nation. And that's why this work was given to the most able leader of India independence struggle, and he was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who is known as Iron Man of India. Except him, no one could do this work. Later I will discuss about it. But he had many meetings with the heads of princely states, though many princely states at that time, at the time of partition, there were approximately more than 560 princely states in India. And it was a big challenge for the nation to bring them on one platform. So, he had many meetings not only with the nationalist leaders and different communities, but princely states rulers also. And he prepared them to join the Indian Union. Second, that is partition. As you know, partition, it was a very sad incident for independent India, because India had been divided into two parts, India and Pakistan. The drawing of the border demarcating the territory of each country, India and Pakistan, marked the culmination of political developments. And India had been divided on the base of two nations theory. According to this theory, advanced by the Muslim League, India consisted of not one but two people, Hindus and Muslim. And earlier I told you that the majority, where there were Muslims in majority, were given to Pakistan, and where Hindus were in majority, that areas were given to India. So now it was a big challenge to those people, to bring those people from Pakistan to India, or sending people from India to Pakistan. It was a very sad incident because it became violent. Even before August 1947, many violent incident had taken place. So the people who had to displace, it was a difficult task to settle them and to arrange employment for them. That's why the partition was not a happy incident, or we cannot call the independence we got, that was a celebration. Though independence is a celebration, but the incidents that took place, that were very sad. So, a list of each and everything was prepared. And these things were distributed between the two nations equally. You may feel the idea a very simple, but it presented all kind of difficulties because there was no single belt of Muslim majority area in the British India. As earlier I told you, there were two areas of concentration, one in the west and one in the east. East, that now known as Bangladesh, but that time it was part of Pakistan and it was called Eastern Pakistan. The present Pakistan, that time it was called Western Pakistan. So there was no way these two parts could be joined. But it was decided that the new country Pakistan will comprise two territories. Secondly, all Muslim majority areas did not want to be in Pakistan. Like the respected leader who is known as Frontier Gandhi also, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, the undisputed leader of Northwest Frontier Province, was strictly opposing to the two-nation theory. That was a very sad incident, so its consequences were not happy. When India got freedom, it was very difficult task to transfer such people in such large number from one place to another place, because the Muslims became violent on the name of religion, and they killed the people who were migrating from their native place to other places. Cities like Lahore, Amritsar, Kolkata, these became divided into communal zones. Muslims would avoid going into an area where mainly Hindus or Sikhs lived. Similarly, the Hindus and Sikhs stayed away from the area of Muslim dominance. So that's why it is called a very sad incident, and a number of people were killed during this transformation, and even women were not safe, they were attacked, and they were converted to religion of the abductor and were forced into marriage. In many cases, women were killed by their own family members to preserve them from Muslims. So these were the sad incidents that were taking place during that time. A number of refugee camps were started, so that the people who were coming from Pakistan to India, they could be allotted some place, and these refugees had to live even for many years in the refugee camps. Writers, poets and filmmakers in India and Pakistan have expressed the ruthlessness of the killing and the sufferings of displacement and violence in their work, in their novels or books or short stories, even poems also. So the partition was not merely a division of properties, liabilities and assets, or a political division of the country and the administrative apparatus. You can't imagine it forced about 80 lakh people to migrate across the new border. And approximately 5 to 10 lakh people were killed in partition related violence. So that is why we many times we call the partition was not a happy ending. Now you see in the picture, it clearly shows that how did people migrated from one place to another. The people who were living in Pakistan, who were very rich there, had to leave each and everything there in Pakistan, and they returned India without even a single penny. They were wearing only the clothes which they had worn. Except this, they could not bring anything. But at that time, when the independence was given to India and violence broke in various areas, at that time Mahatma Gandhi was in Bengal province in a particular area that is known as Noakhali. Now it is in Bangladesh. He was in Noakhali and he urged the people not to be violent. The area the Muslims wanted had been given to them. So there was no place for violence. But the Muslim had decided and they had already declared the direct action plan. So this was the incident. And now you see the map of India at the time of independence. So these were the provinces which were in existence that time. And in my next lecture, I will discuss about that. Okay, thank you for listening me carefully. And now try to find at least 15 objective questions from this lecture. And you have to find out at least 3 questions carrying 4 marks and 1 carrying 5 marks. Okay, beta. Thank you. See you in my next chapter.